Right, it's Dododoyobi. Today is February 10th, 2024 here in Pacifica, California. 12 miles south of San Francisco. Going here for Choi. MedakaMetal style. The metal in Medaka today is this nice flying V over here. A beauty. Whoa. Alright, today, try to make it really quick. It's been a while. Let me take a real quick sip. The best beer of the day is the beer that I'm having with all you Medaka heads out there that are enjoying Medakatsu. Medakatsu is whenever you are doing something to the tank of Medaka, or when you're thinking about Medaka, that's Medakatsu. So, kanpai chin chin chayo. Real quick sip. Oh yeah. Alright. So, I'm going to try to wrap up this quick because I could probably talk forever. The Medakas that I growing up with when I was a kid back in the 80s and all that stuff, even till, I don't know, last year, they were all outdoors. They came from Japan. You leave them outdoors 24/7, unattended, with, you have summer, you have the 4 seasons, basically. And they would survive. But these, the newer generation Medakas are different, completely different. So here I have the Midnight Frill Lame type from Tarumi-san that he developed, and also on the top you have the Red Cliff that Tarumi-san also developed. There are certain requirements to keep them looking nice and healthy as well. It comes pretty tricky when you're trying to collect eggs because of the way their fins mature. So it's something that I'm learning, something that I read, something that I was aware of. But now that I've experienced this firsthand, I figured, or I felt that I could talk about it based on my experience. Real quick sip. All right. So number one, I guess I'll just go through the setup that I have right here. So over here, these are, I'm trying to make a mix, a cross, right? Midnight Frill and the Red Cliff. So I call them Metal Riff, and I talked about why that name and why I'm calling them Metal Riffs, or Metal Riffs, or this is the offsprings. These are the Metal Riffs. Awesome Judas Priest style. But so this tank is kept at 24 right now. 24 as in 24 degrees Celsius, 75 degrees Fahrenheit. To get these guys to spawn, or to get them going in action, the menage, I had to bring them up to 82 degrees Fahrenheit, 28 degrees Celsius, and at least with about 13 to 14 hours of light. When I dropped the temperature to 75, that's 24 degrees Celsius, they stopped. They're doing fine, but they just stopped. So at this point, they're basically tropical fish, in my opinion. When you need to keep the temperature that high for them to produce, or to get the hormones from the female releasing, I'm talking this backwards, but for the female to start releasing hormones for the male to get like excited, for these fashion design Medakas, I guess, you got to get the temperature high and for them to trigger, which is not typical for Medakas historically, right? The reason why I brought this tank down to 24 degrees Celsius, 75 degrees Fahrenheit is because I wanted the female here to rest a little bit and all that. That being said, I did that with the Red Cliff. These are 2 females over here, if it'll focus. The male is gone. When I brought the temperature down, the male's fins started to melt. And at the same time, he started to get bloated. He was like constipated. He wasn't able to break down the food. So that's how sensitive they are. And it's not cold, right? When you bring it down to 24 degrees Celsius, that's 75 degrees Fahrenheit. You should not have the fins melting or the digestive system just like slowing down. Medakas don't have stomachs, but that being said, it's like, so long story short, they are very, very, very sensitive. The designer, I'm just going to call them designer medakas. So that is what I've experienced. And for them, I don't know. Are they medakas? Are they not medakas anymore? They just behave different. The other thing to note is, before I go to the fry, if you don't have enough temperature, right? If you don't have the temperature up to like 28 degrees Celsius, 82 degrees Fahrenheit, their fins are not going to grow the way they're supposed to. These are supposed to be wide fins, right? But once they get to that look, even if they lay eggs, you're going to get a lot of eggs that are just like bad, meaning they're not fertilized. If you look at this male right here, if I could focus in, right here, the red cliff, it's just that the anal fin just gets in the way when they're trying to get busy, right? Imagine wearing like a Levi's jeans and some skirt while you're trying to do some business. It's not going to go anywhere. And that's the situation. So for them, you need to collect the eggs while they are still developing in a way, before their fins start getting super long. It's just the way it is. So now if you keep the temperature down to prevent the fins from growing, you have issues. And now when you bring the temperature up high, you have other issues, because now you're getting eggs that are not fertile. So it's just figuring out that balance and trying to collect while they're young, per se. It's a different challenge in, like, as far as my medaka like experience. It's really different, man. They're medakas, but they're almost like they're not medakas. Over here, these two over here, I guess, they are the offsprings of the red cliff over here, and then the midnight frill. I call them the metal riff. I talked about why I call them the metal riff. I think on the last episode or whatever last year, but when they hatch out of the eggs, they're pretty big, but their growth is pretty slow. I have these tanks set at 82 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 28 degrees Celsius. I had I put about 38 fertile eggs, and I think I have about 12 or 14 and they're about, 7 weeks old, 8 weeks old. Obviously, the larger ones will eat the smaller ones or beat the hell out of them, and they melt away. But they really look like the mom. The mom is the midnight frill. For the F1, it's kind of hard. It's kind of tricky. F1s are pretty deceiving. F1s, you get what you want to see, but the offsprings of these guys and girls, you'll probably yield something completely different. So F1s, you can't really, it's pretty difficult, just because you're going to see what you want to see. Same with over here. Same batch. I just removed the larger ones. I'm not going to zoom in just because I'm having a difficulty with my iPhone. I don't know. I'm having a hard time focusing. Like, meaning it doesn't focus right. I don't know. Maybe it's a software update issue or something like that. But whenever I try to zoom in onto the fish, it really doesn't do a good job. All right, so now it's 10 minutes in. I'm rambling. These are the Red Cliff, some of the juveniles. If it'll focus, they're doing well. I got this off of Amazon. I always wanted to try out a satellite. So I have a satellite thing going on over here. I put some eggs in there. I don't even know if you could see, but there's some little guys in there. Oh, there. We'll see how they do in this kind of like environment. Just because I don't have enough tank space, you know, like everybody runs out of tank space, and I'm like, well, if I put on this like hang on thing, at least it's like the same water, some of the heated water going in there and getting circulated. So all right, just doing a quick catch up. We'll do it again next time. I have to go to Japan in about like 2-3 weeks or 3 weeks and all that. I just have to figure out what I'm going to do with them while I'm gone, but they'll do what they do. These are Red Cliff juveniles, I guess. They're about 3 months old, and this tank has no heater in there. The reason why I put these guys like at a certain size, when they get to a certain size, I put them in a unheated environment for a couple of reasons. Number one, or the most important, when you put them in a heated environment, their body grows really fast. And what happens is the internal organs can't catch up with that. So you'll have a huge or larger fish without with their internal organs not fully developed. So what does that mean? When you do that, you have fish that look like they should be producing, but they're not going to be able to reproduce because their sexual organs are not developed. So intentionally, after they get to about a pinky size, I'll throw them in a tank, room temperature in this case. And they're probably at like 65, 68 degrees Fahrenheit. That's like 19, 20 degrees Celsius. And they'll start to, their growth rate is slower, but at the same time, their internal organs should be growing at the same rate, right? So they could produce like how they should be. It's kind of like you give them too much heat. It's like providing humans with steroids, right? When you take steroids, like, you just bulk up and everything inside doesn't, right? So that was probably a bad example because that's not true. So all right, so we'll do it again next time. I gotta get ready to go to Japan. I gotta figure out how I wanna consolidate some of these tanks so I could run tanks with auto feeders for about 2.5 weeks or 3 weeks. So, all right, so that's on my agenda going forward. Thank you. Domo arigato. MedakaMetal style. It's been a while. I forgot how to talk. It takes a while. this whole talking to myself, talking to yourself, it's kind of weird, yeah. So we'll do it again. Yeah, 15 minutes in. Pretty too long. All right, so Kampai Chinjichayo, have a great tomorrow is Super Bowl, right? So go 49ers. Oh yeah, that was good. All right, outs. MedakaMetal outs. MedakaMetal on Instagram is where I live. All right, outs.